Law, Arthur E. Ebuen, Justin Giampaoli. Welcome to the show, team. How are you today?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Amazing, amazing. It's getting really warm here in Sydney. So I don't know how's California feel like. Are all of you based in California or anywhere else? Dave?
Yeah, I'm down here in San Diego. Justin, if you want to say something.
Yeah, also in San Diego.
Nice.
Looks like Dave
Awesome.
froze.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it
think
looks
we
like
lost
that.
Dave.
Don't worry, we'll get back to Dave once he comes back. But yeah, we
Yeah,
can
he's
keep
in
moving
San
till then.
Jose, so maybe there's a delay. There he is. Oh no, he dropped out. Looks like he's jumping back in.
But you are all based in California, so that's fantastic. That's amazing. I think it's been a while that I've met a team, an entire team that's actually located not too far from each other. So it's a unique thing in indie comics, at least from what I know nowadays. You know, so yeah,
And Justin's got roots up in the Bay Area where Dave's at.
Yeah, I lived
yeah.
in San Jose for 13 years before coming to San Diego. So Dave and I, yeah, know some of the same people and the same retailers up there.
And it's interesting because Dave actually used to live in San Diego as well, and then moved back to the Bay Area. So there's like the three of us have to have cross paths eventually.
Yeah, the reason why I say this is because obviously, uh, what 35 years ago, we used to hear stories about, like Laird and Eastman, where people from the same community or, nearby places used to make comics together by sitting in one room. And now indie comics is so different that, you work with artists and writers from the other side of the world and, you make comics with them. So, it's great that you guys are located close by.
Justin, didn't you work with Andrea when he was in? I'll let you tell that part.
Yeah, I just one of the artists I work with on a couple of the books that I had published through Dark Horse was Andrea Moody, and he was living in Italy still at the time that I was working with him. Our colorist, Vladimir Popov, was actually in Russia, so we were all spread out all over the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Amazing. So Dave's back. Welcome back, Dave.
Sorry about that. I don't know what
Um,
happened.
that's all right. That's perfectly all right. So you're at the top of my screen. So maybe we'll start introductions from you. So in your own words, tell us a bit about yourself. Oops, I think Dave's gone again.
Did we lose him again?
I think so.
Oh, really?
Oh, he's
Hello?
back. Yeah, you're back.
Oh, okay. I don't know. It didn't change to me. You guys were always there. That's weird. Um, all right. So my name is Dave Law. I'm an illustrator. I work in comics. I've illustrated. I illustrated California Inc. And I'm working on a book called West Side with Justin, and then I'm also doing a book called The Space Odditorium, and I do cover artwork for Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Amazing. Um, Arthur.
Yeah, my name is Art Ebuen. I've been working with Justin and Dave for the last 3-4 years now. Started my career as an animator for a bit and moved on to advertising for about 16 years, and have been working the last 3 or 4 years in comics and doing video production with my own production company. So that's where I'm at this point.
Amazing. Justin.
Yeah, so my name's Justin Giampaoli. I was the editor on California Inc., and I started in comics as an award-winning critic at my website 13 Minutes. I did that for about 10 years and then transitioned into writing and editing. I've done projects for Dark Horse Comics, Boom Studios, DC's Vertigo imprint, a little digital publisher called Madefire. Now working with Art and Dave on California Inc. at Studio 12/7. And I just picked up some other editorial work at a small imprint called Elephant Eater Comics with our friend Ryan Clater.
Awesome. Thanks,
Thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
Yeah, I love to know where their love for comics originate from. So, in your own words, tell us how did you get interested in comics? Was it growing up, or later in life? How did comics pique your interest, Dave?
Um, when I was a kid, I had some. I was visiting some family in New York City, and we went and visited some cousins of mine who they were really into comic books. So they could tell I was a just kind of a bored kid. So they they brought out a bunch of the comics for me to look at, and I was just blown away. It was I still remember it was Uncanny X-Men. So like that was it was Jim Lee's artwork that first kind of caught my eye, like a lot of people, but. It was awesome, and I think they let me have those books, and I just toiled over them forever, copied all sorts of all the pictures out of them as I could, and yeah, I just fell in love with the medium at the time. I really didn't even pay too much attention to the stories. I loved just the design and the style of it all. Later on, I started to really appreciate the storytelling qualities of comics, but that was really what originally just kind of got me inspired.
Fantastic. Art? Doing good.
Yeah, similar to Dave, where I had a bunch of comics, but I don't exactly remember when I started. But I do remember going to some shops with my brother, my older brother, to a couple comic shops here in San Diego, and just going with him. And I'd pick up a couple things purely for the art. I didn't read much of it at all, and I got made fun of that by a bunch of my buddies later on in college. All these long boxes of comics I've never read because I would just look at the art. As an artist, I would just go through the art and then just kind of study them. And then later on, when I took a break from comics for about a good few years and came back, I discovered creator-owned comics, Image and Dark Horse and Oni stuff, just all of that, specifically anything made by Greg Rucka or Rick Remender. A lot of those comics really pulled me over the last 10 to 12 years. And that really brought me back into the world of comics as of lately. So that's what inspired me to get into writing.
I keep telling my wife that.
Um,
I keep telling my wife that, like, whenever I buy new stuff that I don't read, I tell her that's my retirement policy. Awesome. Justin.
Yeah, for me, it started when I was a kid, as early as like 3, 4, 5 years old. So my parents are antique dealers, and when I was growing up, this is in the late 70s, early 80s, we would take these cross-country road trips from California back to Pennsylvania, New York, Boston, multiple times a year. They would pull me out of school, and I'd be in the car for 8 or 10 hours a day. And this is in the era before iPads and smartphones and internet. So every time we stopped at a 7-Eleven, my mom would grab 3 or 4 random comics off that spinner rack and shove them into my face. And I would read them over and over and over again on that 10 or 12-hour car ride every day.
Wow, that's
just
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of similar to, like, so I grew up in India, and a lot of comics in India used to come back in the day, like, from newsstands. We didn't used to have comic book shops, so newsstands and even like the newspaper had subscriptions. So whenever we used, and train journeys was a huge part of our life. So we would spend like a couple of days traveling in train from one place to another. Every time we were on a train journey, we would get comics. So that was our gateway into comics, really.
Nice. My
Awesome.
wife actually has a similar uh, relationship with comics. When she was a kid, they'd do long car rides, but they'd always stop and like let them get a bunch of snacks and comics and stuff. And she would always get like Archie comics, but she always thinks it like brings her back to those road trips with her family all the time to visit her grandparents and just like reading comic books in the car. I can't read in the car, but that's what she loved. That was her thing.
Oh my god, reading in the car sounds horrendous. Like getting
Yeah.
dizzy, motion sickness. Yeah,
No,
that's
thank you.
Yeah, it's funny. That didn't bother me as a kid, but as an adult, I don't like to read in the car because I'll get a little headache or a little dizzy.
I wish I could. I had a friend. She read a whole novel on a car trip to to Tahoe. Like, A, that's super fast reader. B, I can't even imagine reading a novel on the way up to Lake Tahoe.
I'm thinking about vomiting just thinking about that. Like, no way, absolutely no way.
Novels are objectively harder to read in a
That's
car.
why I
Yeah,
like me
yeah.
some audiobooks.
That is a very good hack. That is true. Yeah, yeah. And I think comics in general could be easier, probably because you can still make out a large part of the story with the pictures. But yeah, so awesome. Tell us a bit about the campaign, California Ink trade paperback. Since California Ink is new to the podcast, maybe tell us a bit about the story and without, of course, spoiling it.
Yeah. So it takes place about 18 years after supposedly California has seceded from the old Union. So it's about 2047. So it's not too far ahead. So part of the look of it is what does the near future kind of look like? That's something that Dave and I worked on. So it feels like it's got some leeway to do some things that might feel out of reach, but not too far out of reach. And so in this story, it's still in its early stages of being a new corporate country. California's left. What does it do that's different? It's now a corporate country. And so with that, you got some factions infighting to start shaping this new corporate country. And you got people from those on the board, from people within PR, which is like Hollywood, all the way down to some underground factions that might be kind of coming out of the shadows, that might be looking at an opportunist moment to bring back their original kind of stake to this land.
Cool. Justin, Dave, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add with the collected edition, there's a lot of bonus content. There's like 20 or 30 pages of bonus content. You've got all of the variant covers from a wide range of artists: Don Agulo, Justin Greenwood, Andrea Moody, so many amazing variant cover artists. Dave's done some of the variant covers as well. There's in-universe back matter, like FBI wanted profiles for the main characters, which I think is fun. There's all of the design work, the character designs. What am I leaving out, guys?
Yeah, I added some, like you mentioned, there are some design breakdowns, and there's some subtle design elements in there, like Big Sis's tattoo, like the breakdown of the conceptual thought behind, the intricacies within her tattoo. And if you look at the new corporate flag of California, how that came about, and what the meaning is, and what some of the thoughts are behind some of the design choices in that as well. So little Easter eggs for you to understand and see, to help kind of make more sense for you in the end.
Yeah, I think what a lot of it does is shed a little light on them. You can read the story and enjoy it for its narrative, but I think Art, me and Justin put like a lot of thought into the world, kind of some backstories of the characters that you wouldn't necessarily know. Justin's a big hater on exposition, so we had to cut all of that out. And so, but we still thought about it, and I know Art thought a ton about it. And so, that was I think that's what you kind of see that where that work kind of came in to make the ultimate product that you read.
And then seeing some of Dave's right there, you see the development sketches, seeing kind of like behind the curtain of his brain and how he starts to kind of play with some of the design options as he bats them back and forth between us to bring these characters to life. It's kind of cool to see like actual pencil on paper sketches, not digital. Nothing wrong with digital, but it's just cool to see like actual paper and pencil together. And I think that might be charcoal too.
Oh, that's fantastic. We had somebody on the show who had used a physical paper, and he painted the whole comic book cover with watercolors, and then scanned it and made it into a digital cover, and it looks stunning because the colors come out so much brighter when it's on the paper.
I actually do Andrea's cover, the variant cover he did. He hand did the whole thing, and that was the first piece of like California Ink art before I bought anything from Dave physically. But like that's one of the first things that I got was Andrea Moody's variant cover, and it's really cool. Like you said, it's like it's original piece of art. It's a one of one. It's in my hand, completed, and no one else has it. It's really cool. I did the same for Justin Greenwood's cover too. I had to have that. So yeah, it's pretty dang cool. The other covers, I wish there was some physical art for me to pull from, but I'm not unhappy with what I have.
Yeah, I'd love to own one of Don's covers.
You can't.
I
He's all.
know,
He's a digital guy.
but he's doing more physical work lately. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
He's bringing more physical work to cons. Oh man, that do I have it here? His Harlequin. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got that. Holy jeez, so cool, so cool.
Is that Don Gwynn, Justin?
It's done.
Don Angelo?
Right.
We know Don Wynn as well, but no, it's a different. There's like 10 Dons in my life in the comic book world. Strangely enough, very popular name. If you want your kid to go into comic booking, name him Don.
Yeah, Don Walker, right?
Don Walker, yeah. I'm blanking on the other Dons, but there are other Dons too. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. I think that's a great segue into the rewards. We want to talk about the rewards, add-ons, and stretch goals. Let's talk about them. Do you want to start, Justin?
Sure. I mean, Art probably knows them better than I do, but the overview is, I mean, you have a lot of choices as a consumer, right? You've got digital and physical options, you've got signed options, non-signed options. There's a retailer bundle, which we always like to highlight. There's a great deal here. I think you get 3 trades essentially for the price of one at the retail price. So if you're a retailer looking to not overcommit with 20 or 30 copies, but you want a small bundle of 3 and you can get multiples of that, that's a fantastic option as well. We've been just blessed with our local retailers and done signings, so we like to really, reward them in a special way and in a real low risk way to opt into the campaign.
My favorite thing that we have there is a mystery variant that you can sign up for, and basically, yeah, that's the one right there. Yeah, you get a mystery variant set, which like we kind of talked about already. The variants I think on this series are just stellar. There's so many amazing artists that did different covers for the 4 issues. Each issue has like I want to say like 4 to 5 variant covers. Art, you can correct me if I'm right. So there's tons. There's amazing, and they're all just beautiful pieces of art that would look great on anyone's wall. So
Yeah, going back to that too. So you get a variant set, a mystery variant set. So issue 1 through 4, but we're going to randomly just pull for each set. And then on top of that, there's some in-world merch. Like if you did live in the world of California Inc., the corporate country, there's the lapel pin that bear that that comes from the flag, and then the pin of Big Sis's tattoo there, as well as there's kind of an inside joke with the B dupe from issue number 3. And then you have the patch for General Vesa, her winter patch that she wears um, in her mission out in Lake Tahoe during the winter. And then if you want to get all four of those, there's a nice little discount. There's a bundle for that as well. But and going back to what Justin was talking about, we have digital, we have physical, but even with the digital, there's a couple options. You have the regular, just standard DRM free PDF. You could read it on whatever device you want. And then we have the premium plus version, which if you do want more than what we already have in there, we'll add the scripts as well. So that adds a little more oomph for your buck. And if you do happen to get the signed physical, you get the premium plus. If you get the standard physical, you get the standard PDF as well. So those are included in your physical options as well.
That's quite amazing. I really like that retailer bundle as well. That's very reasonably priced. Um, as you know, I think it'll keep things really. What do you say? Like I think very accessible for a lot of retailers. So yeah, great work on that. I think it was in your previous campaign as well. You had that, right? Right?
Yeah, and actually for this one specifically, we are up to 10 retailers, which is pretty dang amazing. And we've got a few out of state, and then a couple out of country. So I think we've got some people who've been waiting for the trade, specifically retailers, which is nice. I don't know if I told you, Dave and Justin, we got a couple out in like Washington and Oregon.
Yeah, I was
So
going to ask what's the other countries?
Nice.
I have the Philippines. I
All
think.
right.
Let me double
Cool.
check. Give me 1 second, please. I will go into the.
Always got to be accurate.
Yeah. Here we go. Please hold. Uh, we've got the Philippines. Oh, I thought we had another
Oh,
one in a different location, but hey, I'm not upset about that. Oh,
no, that's cool.
what did that? Sorry, this other one. He is in Denmark. That's right. He gets his stuff shipped because he backs all our stuff. By the way,
All right.
Jarek is awesome. He backs all our stuff. He gets it. He does a lot of Kickstarters. He gets it sent to his one place in someplace in like Ohio, and then his friend sends everything all at once to him. And it's cool because he has a library as well. So he keeps one for himself. He gives one to a library, his own library, and he gives another one to like another library someplace out there too. So very cool. We're going to be in a few libraries, and I know we have one in Jersey too. So pretty cool. Pretty happy about this.
Not just Californians want to read about California Incorporated.
Wow, that's amazing. No, I think it's great to get backers, especially retailers from other parts of the world, and being in a library is absolutely cool. That's as big a dream as being in a shop, like a comic book shop. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I encourage anybody who is connected to some kind of library, if they want to reach out, the retailer bundles for the libraries as well. So, just, you know, back it at that level and send me a message if you need to send me a message. Let me know which library it's for. But if I send it to you and you give it to your library, we'll work that out. No problem.
That's lovely. That's lovely. Uh, Also, there's some stretch goals, but obviously we'll not get into them. We'll leave them secret for now. So yeah, amazing. Tell us, since this is the first time Team California Inc. Is on the show, I would love for you guys to tell us how the idea came about, and like how each of you how it snowballed into the thing that is today. From each of you.
Yeah, from my mind, it was a combination of being frustrated as someone working in corporate America, just the red tape just to be able to say one thing from one department to another, and how that kind of translates kind of geopolitically as well as office politics as well, office politics. And then the other part of it was, as a Californian living in California, but have visited different parts of the U.S. and, hearing their um, what's the word I'm looking for? Their ideals of what Californian is, to be a Californian is, making fun of that. I wanted, we're pretty self-righteous apparently,
Who
and
makes fun of Californians?
yeah. I mean, nobody, of course not, nobody, and just well, the joke to me was, if we think we're so right, well, what happened if we did break off, and how would we break off, and what would we do to be different, so we would be a corporate country, and then if that did happen, what can go wrong? So that was kind of the backdrop, and then discussing some character kind of plots and stuff with Justin about who could be affected, from there. It kind of snowballed from there. So if Justin wants to jump in with any thoughts, because he was with us early.
Yeah, I mean, my involvement really began. So Art and I met in 2012. We were both going to a local comic shop here in San Diego at the time, and I was still kind of working as a critic. But around, I don't know, I guess 2015, 2018, I started doing more writing, and Art kind of voiced that frustration to me with corporate America and wanted to get back into the creative scene. And he was like, I really want to write something long form. And I was like, well, then do it. Let's figure this out and work together, nights and weekends and just whenever we had the time, and kind of helped him craft those first few scripts and edit them and did dialogue polish. And before we knew it, we had 4 scripts completed, and it was time to find Dave at that point.
Yeah, let us know how you jumped in, Dave. That was that's the next part of the story, right?
Yeah, it was at a comic book convention. I was there schlepping one of the books I'd worked on, the Space Odditorium, and Art came up with his friend, and they were there filming and interviewing people, I think, for a website that they do reviews and stuff about comics and sorry, comics and conventions, and
Right.
they were really friendly. We talked a lot, and he didn't mention that he was working on a book yet. He just was kind of talking about my work and my comic, and then I think he came back a couple times. We chatted more, and eventually it came out that he has a book he's working on. Which a lot of people have books they're working on. They ask me about it, so it's it's nothing too different. And but little by little, he kind of expressed that he'd like me to do the art for it. So I wanted to read the comic first. I've had also, like I said, read a lot of comics that heard a lot of pitches from people where it's not quite ready to be made, but they're ready to make it, but it's not necessarily at the point where I would come in. Art's script was just super dialed. It was really well done. The story was completely thought out, completely written. All the scenes were just like beautifully described, and I could tell it was a really different kind of story. It had a cool vibe to it, different vibe than you see in a lot of comic books. It was cool. I really identified with it right away, and so one of the things I go off of when I'm looking at a script is, as you're reading it, do I get more excited about the different scenes that I would depict or the different characters that are being introduced? And it was definitely the case with this. The more I read, the more I was just like, oh, I can't wait. That'd be fun to draw. Even in your head, you're like, I can't wait to draw that. So it's already, you're ready to do it. So it was pretty easy from that point on. Me and Art, I think a lot alike in certain ways. I think he was new to all of the making comics, so we walked down that road a little bit again with him, and he's just got a great business mind for this kind of a thing. So it was cool to look at it through his eyes, where he's kind of exploring a lot of the different ways you can produce a comic book, and trying to juggle the best way to do this book. And I think we've finally settled on Kickstarter. I'll let Art talk a little more about that, because I think that's a lot of more his involvement in it.
Yeah, I'll actually want to thank Justin for a lot of that. I appreciate you mentioning how polished we were coming in for you, because now that I'm behind the table, what's it going on year 3? I'm experiencing finally what you're talking about, people pitching me ideas about things they want to. Everybody's got this move where they put their arm around you and go, imagine. and they've got this idea, they've got this story, but nothing's on paper, right? And
my dog is the craziest dog.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe it. You should make a comic book about it.
I got this idea. Listen, they do the finger guns. I got this idea, right? And Justin was like, no, go in there, like, be ready. Let's have some scripts. So I want to thank Justin for that, for not making me look like one of those guys. by making sure my script was polished, especially the dialogue. So I don't know, Justin, if you want to jump in and you know
Yeah, I think a lot of that in me, it came from me being a critic for 10 years. And even reading a finished comic, sometimes you can see that the pitch of this book wasn't very good to begin with, or the hook wasn't strong enough, or the writer and artist disagreed on things, or they didn't have an editor and it's full of typos, or those things really bugged me as a critic. And when I started writing comics and then eventually working with Art, editing his book, I just wanted it to be as polished as possible. And I just ultimately think that's the role of an editor, is to help the writer and artist present their work in the best way possible and make it look as polished as it can possibly look, so they have the greatest chance of success. And we see that to this day. I mean, I've tabled enough with Art and Dave that this cover to the collected edition you see there is up on one of Art's convention banners, and it stops people dead in their tracks. They stop and look at it and they beeline to the booth and go, "What the heck is this?" And that is such a good feeling, not only for Dave as the artist, but just for all of us being associated with this book, that we've all created this thing that it's attention grabbing and the hook is strong, and it avoids a lot of the pitfalls that I saw as a critic when I was reviewing comics.
Yeah, to add to that, one of the things that you could see here between the three of us, we get along. Like Dave mentioned, I think that's what it was. When I was walking that convention floor, that may have been the third or fourth convention where I was looking for an artist to connect with our story. And as Dave mentioned, I didn't mention the story up front. I just was interviewing him. I liked his work, and then I kind of got to know him as we kind of came by and said hi a few times. And my buddy Joel was like, "You really get along with Dave." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I think you want to work with him." And I was like, "I think I do." And so that kind of happened. And it shows, again, the way the three of us really get along, because I'm going to plug it now, but Dave and Justin are now working on a story together where Justin's the writer and I'm helping publish it. It just shows how much the three of us get along. And something I believe in is, if you get along with people and you're working on something, it shows in the work. Where if someone's just doing it to get a paycheck and they don't like each other, that shows in the work. And I hope that the camaraderie that we have really shows in the work that we have, because we're pretty damn proud of what we've got here and really excited about sharing with people.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, I think this is not only true what you said about, like, people working really well together, showing up on a page works really well on every single comic slash project that comes along, but this is especially true in indie comics. And all of that, what you said, Justin, about, like, people like having, like, spelling mistakes, or like hundreds of those things. There's, like, because a lot of indie comic projects are from self starters, and like, full points to them for getting self started, but sometimes just going that extra mile of having an editor, a fresh pair of eyes, come in and tidy up a few things, just takes it to the next level, isn't
Even
it?
in actual professional comics, Justin has caught a lot of typos, which is surprising to me. Like actual books made under big labels, and he's like, "Hey, look at this!" It's like, no way, no way that went through.
Yeah, wow, that's fantastic. Well, yeah, I think that's what a good editor can do. Apart from, like, just making this, like, giving the story some extra punch, and like, making it all the more impactful. So yeah, I also love that, a lot of times when I talk to the creative teams, writers go, like, this is what I had not thought uh, of when it was in my mind, but when it came back from the artist, I was like, oh, this is absolutely right. This is perfect, because it comes out differently, but it comes out exactly how you thought, as the essence of it, rather than, the material side, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I really feel like what you're describing, it comes down to trust. And I saw Dave and Art build that relationship where, yeah, there's things in the script that Dave draws exactly as they're scripted, but then there's things that Dave interprets. And a lot of times it's better than what I had envisioned in the script. And I think that's just magical when a writer and artist learn to trust each other like that. And that gave me all the confidence with this project and the confidence to continue working with Dave, just seeing that there's a lot of trust here and shared experiences and conventions together. And there's really no substitute for that kind of trust with the creative team.
Very, very true. Very, very true.
Yeah, Dave.
Um,
Dave was
yeah.
the work he had that drew me to work with him was stunning. That's the main reason why I stopped to go say hi, right? And then for me to go, hey, here's my script. Let's turn it into our story. Go have fun with it. Was really hard for me because I'm an artist by trade, but also he's so nice. It's easy to go, I'm going to trust him because he's not malicious, and I think he's going to do his best to make sure to tell the best version of this story. And I mean, I don't know if you want to talk more about that, Dave, but like, I really felt like you put a lot of yourself into these and really turn some of those pages into your ideas, which was great because that's what it should be. It's our story in the end.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I just really nice to hear you guys say that stuff. Really means a lot to me. And yeah, it's I think one of the nice. I think it builds on itself. You have the trust of who you're working with, and that you've kind of you test the boundaries a little bit when you first start working with someone. First you kind of try to stay close to what they describe. You ask a lot of questions. You really try to make sure you know where they're coming from, what they're expecting from you, and then you execute. But little by little, you might test the water here and there, try to do something a little different. And it might not even be within the actual book, but as you're developing the characters, this kind of happens in each stage. You kind of just feel out your how it is to work with them. Some people I've worked with are a little bit more specific with what they want, and other people are really open. And I think there's cool things with both. And I think if you're aspiring artist, I want to like I've found that there are a lot of artists that kind of like one or the other, and they kind of will be really kind of stuck in those ways too. And I think if you open yourself up to both, there's pros and cons. There's pros mostly to both of them, and you got a lot of freedom. That's obviously as an artist, you're able to like play and have fun and experiment with things and grow as an artist as you create this thing, and that's beautiful. And if you have a writer that's really specific, usually they have some great ideas, and to kind of embrace those ideas, and it's nice. It's like you're taking something that's already really cool and just trying to make it even cooler. So I think that's one thing I love about comic books is that in that collaborative element to it, that feedback that you get, and that it's not just me sitting on an island creating this vision, which is cool. I think some people are like that too, and I can appreciate that. But comic books are different, especially the ones where you've got multiple people working on them, because yeah, you've got that kind of interplay with each other. It's just some that's obviously much different than its parts. Um, so yeah, yeah, and both Art and Justin are great with that. So I've had a lot of fun being able to grow as an artist working on their books because yeah, they have great ideas and they welcome my experimentation.
Yeah, I'll give you a quick design example that Dave did was, we talked conceptually about the story, and when we first introduced in issue 2, Big Sis and Little Bro or LB, the kind of funny part of it for me, story wise, is Little Bro is technically younger, yes, but he's a little bit, he's an adult and he doesn't like being called Little Bro, and so Dave designed him to be physically massively bigger than his bigger sister, but his posture around her when she's talking with her bigger personality, even though she's smaller, he projects those two personalities when they're with each other, which is really cool. You could see him; he's kind of hulking, but around her, he kind of gets a little more meek, and he feels like he puts himself in that shadow that she has overcasting him. And that's something that I've talked about and felt, but he made it even better on page. So that's the fun collaboration that we had. That's one of many examples. So
That's so good. That's so good. I always love when teams come together to create something, something as good as this. This looks fantastic, by the way. And yeah, there's the sample pages, the art, and everything in there looks absolutely stunning. So yeah, definitely kudos to you all, for creating something really special here.
Thank you.
thank you for that.
Awesome, awesome. Did you guys know that there's something called California Forever? Uh, have you heard of the project called California
Is that
Forever?
the one in North County? I'm sorry, in Northern California, but kind of heading east, where they're trying to create their own city. Is that the one you're talking about?
That's the one in Solano County between San Francisco and Sacramento.
And I believe it
Huh.
is actually corporate land too. Am I correct in that? I believe that's correct, right?
Now it is not supposed to be corporate land, so they have incorporated a privately run city, and they're trying to take over the town. So it's funded by Mark Andreessen and all his
Uh,
colleagues, and they're actually trying to take over the town, privatize the entire thing, strip the government, and put their own like privatized government system in
Maybe I
there.
shouldn't have written this. I don't.
That's wild. I've not heard of that before. I'm just checking it out now.
I think Dave is probably he's in it because he lives right by there.
There's another movement up there that is called the State of Jefferson, and it's like parts of Northern California and Southern Oregon that want to secede from the United States and kind of form their own hippie commune collective. It's I think they've even tried to like get bills introduced through Congress, but it always stalls, of course.
So Justin calling it a hippie commune. I think we know where he thinks this, where he stands on that.
There's just no infrastructure up there, right? Northern California, that far Northern
Well, no,
California.
where they're talking about is like I mean I think it's right around there's like farmland around there. I think it's like up by like Dixon and Vacaville. Um, so there's like legit cities over there. Um, so it's not that far away. Like what I'm seeing here.
Well,
Uh,
that's the one that's they're buying up the land.
yeah.
This other thing, the state
Oh,
of Jefferson, is way far north on the border of California and Oregon.
I think I'd be more into a hippie commune than this thing. This looks weird.
I just want some of that no tax that Portland's got. That's all I want. The no taxes on no sales tax.
Yeah. Hey, Mark Andreessen, that name sounds familiar. Isn't he like, wasn't he like some big investment finance guy?
Yeah, yeah, he's one of the biggest investors in
Yeah.
Silicon Valley, and he looks one of the cone heads. So I'm pretty sure he could be one of those aliens from that movie.
I'm just waiting for our creative team to be invited to have a space in California forever. I feel like we should, although I don't know if, yeah, we'll talk offline.
Our book's gonna come out and be called California Forever.
Or it'll be like the initial Bible, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Awesome. Let's shift gears a little bit. I know Art has done this before, but we always love to do this segment where we talk about top five pop culture things you like. Um, uh, we're a little short on time today, but we can do top two pop culture things that you like instead of five. Make it easy on everybody and say like, what are the top two things? Say like comic books, movies, TV shows, any two that you keep going back to. Um, things that you just absolutely love, or yeah, would just be there at the back of your mind forever?
Well, okay, I'll go because right now there's one that's like strong in me, and I spent most of my life. Actually, I even have mild traumatic childhood experiences of this, but I'm currently like totally obsessed with baseball. It just bit me hard, like maybe earlier this year, and I just, I think all the depressing news was getting to me. I usually listen to a lot of news while I'm working. I listen to music and news most of my day while I'm drawing because I draw all the time, and it was just bumming me out so much that I was like, man, I got to find something else, like music usually, but then every once in a while I'm like, I need something a little bit more engaging, and so I just decided to check out baseball, and I think on YouTube came up last year's World Series. So I just watched that. And the first game, I don't know if you guys watch baseball, but the first game plays out like a drama. It's beautiful. It sucked me in like nothing has in a long time. And from there, I watched the whole series. I was glued to that, and then I discovered that history has this rich broadcasting history of like radio shows dictating full baseball games. And so I'm just like,
Wow.
I've been listening to, they still do. And I thought you can just I listened to the whole Giants season basically while drawing this year, and totally hooked. And the World Series, I don't tell me what happened because I haven't had a chance to watch the last two games.
You're joking.
No,
I
don't tell
almost
me. Don't tell me
I
because it's
almost said
crazy.
something. I almost said something. Holy moly. Okay.
But I've
I
been hooked on it like I've some show that you binge watch. It's been baseball for me
talk
totally.
about drama. How do you I guess you're not on social, so you don't see anything.
I
But
am, but I like anytime I see any kind of like sports stuff, which is a ton now because like I've been obsessed with it for the past year. I just like I look away, I glaze my eyes over, and I scroll right past it because I'm
wow.
later today. I'm watching them, but I just don't know. I did have time yesterday or Friday because of Halloween and stuff, and I just want to let it. I want to watch it in its entirety without knowing what's going to happen.
It's
It's
all been a
hard.
dream. It's all been a dream. It's not real. Well, no, that's a
Yeah.
different TV show. Different TV show.
I'll let you guys do another one since I took like way longer talking about mine.
I mean,
Awesome, awesome.
I'll steer it back to comics. So one of
Sorry.
my favorite comics right now coming out is a book called The Sacrificers. It's an image comic from Rick Remender and Max Fiumara. And I'm generally a fan of Remender's writing, but I just feel like this is a next level book. The character designs are amazing. The fantasy setting using kind of anthropomorphic creatures is amazing. Just everything about it is clicking. The colors are phenomenal. The art is amazing. The writing is solid. Um, Remender did kind of a magic trick that no one has paid attention to, as far as I can tell, where he wrote a book a few years ago called Seven to Eternity with Jerome Pena. And now he's writing this book, The Sacrificers. And he said on more than one occasion that they're set in the same universe. And he's kind of creating this universe low key under the radar that no one's even twigged onto yet. So that's got like my highest recommendation if I put my critic hat on right now.
I gotta
I
check
gotta
that
check that
out. I
out. I
love
love
everything he
everything he
does, and
does,
I
and I
haven't read
haven't
that
read that
yet.
yet.
Yeah, I think it's on issue, 16 or 17 now. So not a whole heck of a lot to catch up on.
Oh, sweet.
Let's see. Me, you all have heard this, but anything by Sterling Harjo, specifically Reservation Dogs, and right now I'm watching The Lowdown because it's got Ethan Hawke, who was in
That's
who was
why.
in no, he was in Reservation Reservation Dogs, and I loved him in that. So him with Sterling Harjo again in another show called The Lowdown, it's been great. But and then who is it? Sean Penn specifically in One Battle After Another is absolutely wild. That character, that movie in itself. I know there's some polarizing thoughts on that movie. I loved it, but he plays a character that I did not expect Sean Penn to play in One Battle After Another. And that movie is just pretty well directed. I can't complain about it. Those are my things right now. So the Lowdown and One Battle for Another, but specifically Ethan Hawke in the Lowdown, and then Sean Penn's character in One Battle for Another is is something I just wow, stunned.
I would, yeah, I would like to just add one from my side. Shout out to Only Murders in the Building. It's
Oh,
been such a
totally. I'm totally into that as
consistently
well. That
beautiful
was one of
show.
mine as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. This like I know the current seasons are not as good as like season one or two, but it's still it still has so many beautiful layers to it. Like it's just a really good, well scripted, well directed show. It's very hard to find a show that rides that constant line between absolutely silly and absolutely serious, and it does it really well. So yeah.
Word, I totally agree with you. That show has been one that I've been enjoying as well.
Yeah.
It's
This
funny because those two were in The Three Amigos, which was like my favorite movie as a kid. So it's like kind of cool to see them in. There's no Chevy Chase, but Two Amigos.
He should have like a guest spot on Only Murders.
Oh, I wish that'd be awesome.
I think they did in one of the seasons they did an offhand comment on Three Amigos.
Hmm.
I think they had like a dialogue on it, and they just shrugged it off pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I
I
missed
don't
it. I missed it because I would have loved to hear that.
I don't think Chevy Chase has got a good reputation right now. No,
No.
it's not. Yeah, I don't think he's on the good side of things at the moment. With at least, yeah, that's probably why.
I'd heard that too. I'd heard that, but
I mean,
that's too bad.
I'm a big Community fan, so yeah, some of that stuff kind of,
Same.
yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. We're coming to time, but uh, before we go, I would love to give you guys a stage and make an elevator pitch for the book, for especially this campaign, the trade paperback of California Inc. And yeah, why should people back it? Take it away.
Yeah, so we've got the full story, as we mentioned earlier, all four issues with a bunch of back matter. So even if you've gotten the first four issues, there's more. There's way more there. But the basic log line is: in the near future, California becomes a corporate country with factions fighting to shape a new nation. Wrote it many, many, many moons ago before we met Dave. So it's interesting how prescient it might feel at the moment, but it's not. It's just something that we put together years ago that happens to feel kind of on the nose right about now. But it's the full story, which is great. You're not waiting for issue 5 or 6 or 7 afterwards, and you've got everything you need in there. And if you want more, get either one of the two tiers that have the premium plus PDF in there as well. So you get the PDFs as well. So you get the physical and the PDF if you get physical tiers.
Amazing, amazing. It looks absolutely stunning. Like it looks, it's a project we love on Kickstarter. It's also, it has a bit of history to it now. Now that there are like 4 issues being collected here, so yeah, grab this book. Highly recommend it to anybody who wants to back it. Thank you for coming on the show, Justin, Dave, and Arthur. Really, really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks again, Rob.
Awesome. And thank you everybody for tuning in. Yeah, and until next time, read comics.